Plonk, the log turns, and staring straight at me is a large, snubby snout what's got two orange eyes shining like circles of fire and a row of pointy teeth what's waiting to devour us all. Old George Cooper keeps moving wide, paying that gator no mind. But I'm feeling faint, ready to slide under water and disappear. Keep moving, Mama whispers in an angel voice. Don't look. But I do look, and I do see. Hanging from that gator's mouth is a bushy-ringed tail and two dangling paws. Just keep quiet and keep moving. I'm only talking to myself, but it feels like I'm praying and the good Lord's answering. By the time we step out of the pond, daylight streams through the treetops. My dress sticks to my skin. My arms ache and itch. Clusters of welts as wide as walnuts, as red as cherries, form a wobbly ladder on my leg. Old George Cooper leads us to a small cave covered with branches, sticks, and a sheet of moss, thick as the rug in Mrs. bedroom. Thomas and Willie is still too drowsy to eat, but Mama forces them to nibble the last of the berries. And then we lie down in straw that must be crawling with chiggers. And before I know it, old George Cooper is standing over me, telling me it's nighttime. Time to wake up. Time to move on. The blue bottle's almost empty, but Mama mixes whatever's left with drops of water from the canteen. Old George Cooper keeps strapped to his belt. Don't need much, he says. We's not far from the lake. The dogs lose the scent and the paddy rollers won't cross, lest they's already been tracking. Mama hurries me along, but it feels like iron chains is binding my legs. We slog for hours, till finally the path begins to widen and we walk side by side. Moonlight glistens on a dark lake, what's set before us like a shimmering piece of fallen sky. Old George Cooper flips over a log, laying in the water's edge. Hiding in plain sight, he whispers. He smiles and nods, helping each of us step careful into a carved-out bark canoe. Ooh, so they have a canoe that is looking like it's a log. They're so smart. With a soft plink and a quiet ripple, old George slips the canoe into the water and climbs inside. He sits at one end, and Uncle Jim sits at the other, and Mama and me sit in the middle, holding Thomas and Willie. Mama puts her hand on my shoulder. Be brave, Grace, she whispers, but ghosty words and warnings seem to rise from the dark water. People what goes into that big swamp don't come out. There's snakes and rats and big biting bugs. There's evil spirits what swallow the souls of wandering runaways. Fear chokes me like the devil himself is catching a hold of my throat. Silent as moonlight, we glide into the forever water. Old George Cooper guides the canoe round a narrow bend, winding us further away from the riverbank, further away from Mama's cabin and the big house, from Master Allen and the missus, farther away from Aunt Sarah and Aunt Tempe, from Anna and Uncle Moses, farther away from everything I ever knew. Farther and farther into the darkness we drift, till before long we disappear too. Far off, a solitary cypress keeps watch, its ghostly silhouette rising from the dark water. The only sounds in the distance is lonesome squawks of the night heron, and the tiny swish and ripple of our canoe, and the soft silver prayers that Mama's sending to heaven. Above me, the stars sparkle low and bright. I reach in my pocket and I squeeze Aunt Sarah's small broken button. I listen to the quiet, and I wonder what new world is waiting. And then we're going to be at part 3. So we're going to stop for now. So that was 278 to 287.